The cry from the trash bin. It was late at night. The broken streets were silent. Only the sound of cold wind moved through the dark alleys of a forgotten alien city. Jack, a human scavenger, walked alone. His backpack was almost empty. He had searched for metal wires, anything he could sell. But tonight was bad. Nothing useful. Just broken junk and garbage. As he turned a corner near an old trash site, he stopped. He heard a sound. It was soft, weak, like a tiny cry. Not a machine. Not wind. Jack listened again. The cry came from one of the big metal trash bins near the wall. Slowly, he walked closer. The sound grew clearer. It was not a cat. It was not an animal. It was a baby. Jack's heart beat faster. He pulled off his gloves and carefully opened the heavy lid of the trash bin. At first, he saw only old clothes, some broken glass, and strange, alien food wrappers, but then he saw her. A small alien baby lay inside, shaking. Her skin was pale purple. She was wrapped in dirty rags. Her arms were thin. Her lips trembled. Her eyes were half open but filled with tears. Jack stepped back, shocked. Who would throw a baby in the trash? He whispered. He looked around. No one. Just empty buildings and garbage. The city was quiet. He gently reached inside and picked up the baby. She was cold, very cold. Her breath was soft. Too soft. She was starving. Jack took off his coat and wrapped it around her. He held her close, trying to warm her. Shh. It's okay. I got you, he said softly. He looked into her eyes. They blinked slowly, as if she didn't understand who or what he was. Jack didn't know what to do. He wasn't a father. He wasn't a hero. But he couldn't leave her here. He looked at the dirty bin one last time. It was clear someone left her here to die. Jack started walking back to his workshop. It was small, built from old scrap metal, hidden under a collapsed bridge. He had heaters there, blankets, some water, maybe even some soft food. As he moved, the baby whimpered in his arms. Jack walked faster. He reached his place, unlocked the metal door, and stepped inside. It was warm inside, barely. He placed the baby on a soft chair and lit the heater. He searched through his supplies. Most of it was human food, but he found a small bottle of milk protein he used to feed his robot dog once. He warmed it and tried giving it to the baby. At first, she didn't react. Then, suddenly, she latched on and drank as if her life depended on it. Jack felt something strange inside, a tight feeling in his chest. She was fighting to live. He sat beside her and watched her drink. Her eyes closed slowly. She was still weak, but breathing steadier now. Jack whispered, "Who left you like this, little one?" Later, when the baby slept under a soft light, Jack stepped outside. He returned to the trash bin, thinking, maybe someone was still around. He looked for clues. Tracks, footprints, anything. Then he saw something. Small alien footprints. They led away from the trash bin. Tiny drops of blood followed the prints. They were not fresh, but not old either. Someone had walked here recently, injured. Jack followed, the trail slowly, step by step. The blood drops continued, disappearing sometimes, then returning. The footprints were light, unsteady. Whoever walked here was weak. He followed the trail for 5 minutes before it vanished near a pile of crushed junk. Jack stood still. Was it the baby's mother? Had she left the baby there because she had no other choice? Had she collapsed nearby? Was she watching him even now? He looked around, but the shadows were deep and the wind had returned. Still, he felt like someone was watching. He turned and walked back, faster this time. Inside the workshop, the baby was still asleep, her small hands curled into his coat. She looked peaceful now. Jack sat beside her, deep in thought. Who was she? Where was her family? Why would someone abandon a baby? Unless they were completely desperate. Jack looked at her again. He didn't have answers, but he knew one thing. He wasn't going to let her die. The alien baby slept quietly, her small body wrapped in Jack's thick coat. The warmth from the heater made her skin look less pale, but her breathing was still soft, her strength not fully back. Jack didn't sleep. He sat near the baby, thinking about the footprints and the blood he had seen earlier. His mind kept asking the same question again and again. Where is her mother? He had seen pain before. He had seen hunger. But he had never seen anything like this. A baby thrown into trash, left to die, and someone, maybe her mother, had walked away, bleeding. But why? Jack decided he needed answers. He gently touched the baby's forehead. Still warm, still safe. Then, he grabbed his flashlight, pulled on his boots, and stepped back out into the dark. The night air was colder now. The wind howled through the broken walls of the city. Jack's flashlight flickered over metal junk and cracked stone as he followed the trail once more. The small alien footprints were still there. But now Jack noticed more. There were handprints too, like someone had fallen, pushed themselves up, then walked again. Weak, barely standing. Jack's eyes followed the bloody dots on the ground. They led him deeper, past old ruins, broken speeders, and rusted alien machines. This part of the city was quiet. Too quiet. Then he saw something strange. A cloth. Torn. Purple and soaked in dried blood. It hung from a sharp piece of metal, as if someone had brushed past in a hurry. Jack picked it up. It was thin, like the rag the baby had been wrapped in. Same color, same smell. He looked around. A noise. Soft, like a cough. He turned fast and raised his flashlight. There, lying between a broken pipe and the wall, was a thin figure, curled up, barely moving. An alien woman. She looked half dead. Her skin was dry and cracked. Her arms were covered in scratches. Her clothes were rags, torn, bloody, barely covering her body. Her chest rose and fell slowly, weakly. Jack stepped closer. She didn't look up. She was whispering something. A name? A prayer? Jack knelt beside her. "Hey, can you hear me?" Her eyes opened just a little. Big, glowing eyes, same color as the baby's. She flinched. Her lips trembled. "Don't take her," she whispered in broken English. Jack's heart dropped. She had seen the baby in his arms earlier. Maybe from the shadows. Maybe she had followed. "I didn't take her," Jack said softly. "I saved her." The woman coughed. Her body shook. She tried to move but collapsed again. "Please," she whispered, voice cracking. "Don't hurt her." Tears ran down her cheeks. Jack saw fear in her eyes, but also something else. Hope. He pulled out his water bottle and lifted her head gently. She drank, though her hands trembled. Jack looked at her again. She was the baby's mother. He was sure of it, but she was dying. Jack made a decision. He picked her up carefully like he had done with the baby. She was light, bones and skin. She didn't fight. As he carried her back, her head rested on his shoulder. She whispered things, words. In her alien language, names, maybe memories. She cried softly. Jack walked fast. Every minute mattered. When he reached his workshop, he laid her on a mat beside the heater. The baby stirred in the chair, sensing something. The woman's eyes opened and locked on her child. She let out a cry, a sound of both pain and joy. "My baby." Jack brought the child close. Carefully, he placed the baby into her mother's weak arms. The mother sobbed. She kissed the baby's forehead again and again, her tears wetting the child's skin. Jack turned away to give them a moment. A few minutes later, he came back with warm soup and a blanket. The mother could barely hold the bowl, but she drank, slowly. She looked at Jack. Her lips trembled again. You... human? Jack nodded. You didn't... leave her? No, Jack said. I won't. The mother's eyes filled again. I had no food, no milk, no strength, she whispered. I thought maybe someone would find her, someone better than me. Jack didn't speak. He just handed her the blanket and sat down beside them both. They were strangers from two different worlds. But now they were bound by something deeper, survival, and something was telling Jack. This story wasn't over. The baby was safe. The mother was resting. But something didn't feel right. Jack stood outside his workshop, watching the dark city. He had lived here for years, but that night, the shadows felt alive. He had the strange feeling. He wasn't alone. Back inside, the baby lay curled against her mother, warm now, breathing peacefully. The alien mother was still weak, her body shaking from hunger and cold, but she kept her arm around the child. Her eyes opened slightly when Jack returned. You good, she whispered. Jack didn't answer right away. He placed some tools by the door and checked the locks. Then he walked to a corner of the room and opened a hidden box. Inside was an old pulse pistol. He hadn't used it in years, but something inside him said, "Get ready." Outside, the wind picked up. But it wasn't just the wind. In the distance, beyond, the rubble and broken towers, a figure moved, fast, silent. It stopped near the trash bin where Jack had found the baby. It sniffed the air, long claws dragged across the metal. A low growl echoed through the empty alley. Then, it turned its head, toward Jack's workshop. Jack didn't know what was out there, but he trusted his instincts. He kept the pistol nearby and didn't sleep that night. He sat near the alien woman. You know who's after you?" he asked softly. She opened her eyes, slow and scared. "They hunt, runaways," she said. "They call us wasted ones. If you cannot give work or child or service, they throw you out." Jack felt anger rising. "Who are they?" he asked. She closed her eyes. "The ones with metal marks. Face, covered, no mercy." Jack had heard rumors. Slave lords, alien traders. They sold beings to different planets. If someone grew sick or weak, they were left to die, or worse. The mother looked at her baby. Her lips trembled. "I hid her. I thought maybe someone would take her before they came back." Suddenly, a thump at the door. Jack stood. Then another sound. Something scratched at the metal. A low growl. A voice. Not speaking, but breathing. Heavy. And hungry. Jack grabbed the pistol. He moved to the door and looked through the narrow viewer. Nothing. Silence. He stepped back. Then, a loud bang. Something hit the side of the workshop. Dust fell from the ceiling. The mother cried out softly and clutched her child tighter. Jack whispered, "Stay here, don't move." He stepped outside. The street looked empty, but he heard it now. Scraping, metal, breathing. He moved slow, pistol raised. Then from behind a broken crate, a figure jumped out, tall, thin, wearing a cracked helmet and metal armor. Its face was hidden behind a visor. Clawed hands reached forward. Jack fired. The shot hit the ground. The figure backed away, then ran fast and low into the dark alley. Jack chased a few steps but stopped. He didn't want to leave the mother and child alone. He stood still, breathing hard. That creature wasn't a common thief. It was hunting them. Maybe it was sent to find the mother, or the baby, or both. Back inside, the mother had pulled the baby under her coat. Jack locked the door again and sealed it with a metal bar. "They found us," he said. The woman's eyes filled with fear. "They won't stop." Jack knelt beside her. "Let them come," he said calmly. "They'll regret it." Later that night, while the baby slept, the mother told Jack more. "They gave me to a house. I was to clean, then cook, then give them children. I could not. She looked at her baby, eyes full of tears. They said I was broken, worthless. They threw me in the wastelands. I ran. I hid. I had nothing. Only her. Jack sat quietly. He couldn't imagine that kind of pain, that kind of cruelty. You're not broken, he said finally. You're brave. The mother looked at him. Her eyes blinked, as if no one had ever said that to her before. Outside, in the shadows of the ruined city, the hunter watched. Its helmet glowed red. It had seen the human, seen the child, and now it knew exactly where they were. It pressed a small button on its wrist, and a signal was sent. Others would come. Jack didn't sleep. He sat near the door, pistol in hand, eyes on the dark. The shadows outside felt heavier. Something or someone was waiting. Inside, the alien baby slept peacefully, holding a soft cloth in her tiny fingers. Beside her, the mother, still weak, watched Jack with tired eyes. She tried to sit up but winced. Don't, Jack said gently. You're still hurt. I need to go, she whispered. They will come. They already did, Jack said. And I'm not letting them take you. At sunrise, Jack stepped outside to check the area. The air was cold. The light was gray. Strange footprints were in the dirt outside the workshop, long and clawed, circling the place, but none had broken in. Not yet. He followed the trail to an alley nearby and found blood. Fresh blood. A claw, broken and sharp, lay near it. He picked it up. Whatever creature had attacked last night, Jack had wounded it. But that meant one thing. It would return. Back at the workshop, the alien mother sat beside the heater. Her body still trembled, but she was awake now, more alert. Her hair, once matted and dusty, now hung in long black strands. Jack had given her a clean blanket and some of his own food. She had eaten very little, but it was enough to give her strength. Her clothes were still torn, still soaked in old blood. Jack stepped in and said, I need to get you real clothes. She looked at him with wide eyes, unsure. You're not trash, Jack said. You're not a slave, you're a mother. Her eyes filled again. Not with fear, this time, with something close to relief. No one has ever spoken to me like that. Jack had a small crate of items he had found long ago. Human clothes, alien robes, rags from different worlds. He found a long, soft cloak made from heat-resistant fabric. He gave it to her. She touched it like it was something sacred. She changed in private, and when she stepped out, Jack was stunned. She looked different, still thin, still weak. But no longer just a runaway. Now she looked like what she truly was, a mother fighting to protect her child. The baby stirred and opened her eyes. The moment she saw her mother in new clothes, she squealed softly and reached up. The woman smiled. A small, tired smile, but real. Jack watched in silence. Then he noticed something strange. The mother wore a pendant around her neck. He hadn't seen it before. It had alien writing, almost glowing faintly. What's that? He asked. She touched it gently. Given to me by my own mother, she said. Long ago, before I was sold. Sold? Jack asked, frowning. She nodded. They took girls like me from the orphan homes, promised work. Instead, they sent us to markets. Jack felt sick. How many? Too many. Suddenly, a knock at the door. Not a bang. Not claws, a knock. Slow. Heavy. 3 times. Knock. 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 Jack stood, pistol in hand. The mother backed away, holding the baby tight. Jack moved to the door. Who's there? He shouted. Silence. Then a voice, metallic, deep. Return the property. This is your only warning. Jack's grip on the pistol tightened. She is not property, he yelled. Silence. Then the voice again. We will take what is ours. And then, footsteps fading into the fog. Jack locked the door, Added metal bars. Reinforced the windows. They know we're here, he said. The mother held her child tightly. They will come with more, she said. Jack nodded. Then we'll be ready. As night fell, Jack moved tools, wires, and old parts from his shelves. He began building small traps near the entrance. Shocking wires, smoke bombs, sharp spikes hidden under boards. The mother helped, slowly, but with care. She looked at him with wonder. Why do you help us? Jack stopped for a moment. I don't know, he said. Maybe because I've seen too much evil. Maybe because no one else will. She placed her hand gently on his arm. You are different. Later, as they all sat near the heater, Jack asked, What's your name? The said woman looked surprised, then she said softly, Alari. Jack nodded. I'm Jack. She smiled. Thank you, Jack. And in that small, quiet moment, something changed. They were no longer just strangers. They were becoming something like family. But outside, in the darkness, danger was gathering. Night returned like a silent hunter. Cold winds brushed against the metal walls of Jack's workshop. Inside, the air was still warm, but the mood was heavy. Jack sat by the entrance, pistol across his lap, eyes on the door. Beside the heater, Alari, the alien mother, cradled her baby. Her hands no longer trembled as they once did, but her eyes stayed sharp, alert. The fear never fully left her. She had seen what the hunters were capable of. Jack had asked for her name yesterday. Tonight, she gave him her truth. They come in. The dark, Alari whispered, rocking the baby. Not to steal, but to take back what they say belongs to them. Jack didn't move. You mean your daughter? Alari nodded slowly. They say our children belong to them. Born under their roof, born from their property. So the child is theirs. Jack clenched his jaw. He looked at the baby, now peacefully asleep. So small, so innocent. How long were you with them? He asked. 6 years, she whispered. No sun, no sky, only walls, only commands. I ran when I realized I was with child. You escaped. While pregnant, Alari looked down. I had to, she said. They wanted to take her before she was even born. Silence filled the room. Jack finally stood. He walked to a table and placed down a new device, a motion tracker. It beeped quietly, scanning the outside perimeter. Then he turned back to Alari. You don't ever have to go back, he said. Not while I'm here. Alari looked at him, her lips trembling. No one ever said that to me before. Suddenly, a loud crash. One of Jack's traps was triggered. Sparks flew just outside the workshop. Jack grabbed his pistol and moved fast to the peephole. The motion tracker blinked red. Something had crossed the outer wall. Another crash. Metal tearing. Alari stood up, with the baby, and backed into the corner, shaking. Jack's voice was calm but firm. Stay there. Hold her tight. He moved near the entrance, breathing slowly. His heart beat fast, but his hand stayed steady. Then, bam, the door shook. Another bang, louder. A voice roared through the metal. Return the product, final warning. Jack shouted back. She's not a product, she's a person, and you're not taking her. The voice paused. Then came a growl. Not mechanical. Not a voice. An animal. Suddenly a heavy blow smashed through the side window. A large creature, part machine, part flesh, forced its way inside. Its arms were metal-clawed. Its eyes glowed red. Alari screamed and crouched over her. Baby, Jack fired. The shot hit the creature's chest, but it didn't stop. It roared and knocked over Jack's chair. Jack rolled, aimed, and fired again, this time hitting the leg joint. Sparks flew. The creature fell with a crash, but more footsteps followed. More were coming. Alari crawled toward Jack. Her voice broke. Please, don't let them take her. Take me instead, just don't hurt her. Jack looked at her, at the terror in her eyes, the pain in her voice. He shouted, no one's taking anyone. Then he pulled a lever on the wall. Boom! The trapdoors under the entry hall exploded with smoke and flame. One of the attackers outside fell through, screeching. Jack grabbed Alari's hand. "This way, back exit, move!" They ran through the back tunnel dug years ago in case of collapse. Jack had never used it until now. The tunnel was tight but safe. They emerged in a rocky alley behind a destroyed building. Jack helped Alari up the slope. She clutched the baby, wrapped tightly in the cloak. Her lips were bleeding from biting. Down in fear, they stopped behind a large pile of broken engines. "I know a safer place," Jack said. "An old shelter, no one goes there anymore." Alari nodded, tears falling. "I would have given myself. I was ready," she whispered. "But you said no." Jack looked at her. "You're not a thing to give," he said. "You're someone worth protecting." That night they hid in the underground shelter. The walls were dusty, but thick. There was old food, blankets, and power cells. Jack fixed a broken lamp and watched Alari as she rocked her baby to sleep. She looked at Jack. Her voice was soft. "You could have left us in the trash, like others." Jack shook his head. "No, I don't throw people away." The shelter was silent. Old walls buried under broken city stone kept the outside world away, for now. Jack stood near the door with a flashlight in one hand and his pistol in the other. He had used this old place once to hide from raiders. Now it protected something far more important: a mother and her baby. Behind him, Alari sat on a rolled-up mat, her child sleeping peacefully against her chest. A single lamp cast a soft glow across her tired face, but her eyes were wide open. She knew what was coming. "They don't stop," she whispered. Jack turned. "What do you mean?" Alari looked down. Her voice was low, heavy. "They are not just hunters. They are marked, paid, trained, sent to take runaways back, dead or alive." Jack frowned. "Who pays them?" She met his eyes. "The Syndicate." Jack's heart sank. The Syndicate was no myth. He had heard the stories about black ships that moved through slave colonies, invisible to law, about auctions run in the shadows of moons, about how once you were caught, no one came to save you. "How long have they been after you?" he asked. Alari held her baby tighter. "Since the day I escaped, before she was born." She looked down. "They branded me, said if I ran they'd mark me as discarded property. No rights, no safety, anyone could do anything to me." Jack's hands tightened into fists. "You're not property," he growled. "I was," she said, "until you picked her up." There was silence. Only the quiet hum of the old power cell echoed through the room. Then Jack remembered something. He walked to his bag and pulled out the alien medallion he had found earlier near the trash bin. "Is this yours?" Alari's eyes widened. She reached out with shaking fingers. She held the medallion and pressed it to her forehead. "It's a family mark," she whispered. "My mother wore it. It's the only thing they didn't take." Jack nodded. "Then you still have something they couldn't steal." Suddenly, the lamp flickered, then died. The power cell hummed once, then stopped. Darkness. Jack moved fast. He turned on his flashlight, pointed it to the ceiling. Alari was frozen. Jack whispered, "Stay here. Don't make a sound." He moved to the door, slowly opened it a crack. In the distance, footsteps, metallic, steady. Getting closer. They had found them. Jack closed the door quietly and turned to Alari. "We have to move. Now." "But where?" she whispered. Jack thought for a moment. "There's one last place," he said. "But it's not safe either. I used to trade supplies with an old foreman at the mining outpost east of here. If he's still alive, he might help." Alari stood up slowly. Her knees were shaking, but she refused to let go of her child. "We'll go," she said. They stepped out into the ruined city. The sun was rising, but the air was gray and cold. Jack led the way through broken tunnels and half-buried streets. Alari followed closely behind. Every sound made her flinch. Every gust of wind made her turn around. Hours passed. They crossed rivers of rusted metal, abandoned stations, dead camps. Finally, they saw it. The outpost, a tall building with a watchtower. Old mining machines sat rusting outside. The place looked empty. "Wait here," Jack said. He walked forward, hands raised. A moment later, a voice shouted from above, "Who the hell's out there?" Jack looked up. "Foreman Grohl. It's me, Jack, from Sector 13. A heavy face appeared over the ledge. "Jack, you're still alive?" "Barely." The gates opened. Inside, the old foreman looked at Alari and the baby with tired eyes. He didn't ask questions. "Looks like trouble followed you," he said. Jack nodded. "We just need a place to breathe." Grohl grunted. "Come in, but no. The syndicate's got eyes. If they think you're protecting their goods, they burn everything." Jack looked straight at him. "She's not goods. She's family now." Later, in a quiet room, Jack sat beside Alari. She placed the medallion back around her neck. "I never believed anyone would stand for me," she said. "But you did," Jack replied, "because no one should live in fear." Alari looked at her baby, then back at Jack. "What happens if they come again?" Jack loaded his pistol and whispered, "Then we fight."